Andrew Berry is already up to his business, everybody. Jerry Jeudy is a Cleveland Brown man for a fifth and a sixth round pick. I think that's an incredible move. Low risk, high reward. I think you get a productive young player at a really good price, especially not only what you traded for him, but for what you're going to be paying him this year. But the Browns trade away a fifth and a sixth round pick in this year's draft for Jerry Jeudy. Practically nothing. I think it's an excellent move, like I said, for a very high potential, high upside wide receiver. Now, Jerry Jeudy is a guy who in 2022 had 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. People were very impressed with the season he had, and not in that year in 2022 when the Denver Broncos passing offense wasn't great at all with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. Then this year doesn't have as good of a season, but had 758 yards, 2 touchdowns with Russell Wilson, who was inconsistent, with Sean Payton, who was not great as a coach, in an inconsistent, low volume passing offense where Jerry Jeudy was getting separation. He was eighth in average yards for separation, according to Next Gen Stats this past year. Jerry Jeudy was a guy who got separation, but was not rewarded for his separation, given the quarterback he had, given the system he was in, given the coach and coaches that were running the show. Jerry Jeudy is a guy that I think we all clearly know has potential, has showed some really productive flashes, and that's why you really want to trade for a guy like him. And obviously, when you see the production, it's decent, but not eye popping. But I think we all know why it's not eye popping. And I think we all can understand that when you look at Cleveland, you look at Denver, you look at their offensive situations, you probably like Jerry Jeudy in an offensive situation in Cleveland better than you do in Denver. And when you look at that and you know that Jerry Jeudy is a high upside, high potential guy, you really like this move for the Browns because you've seen what he's done in a not so good situation, put him in a better situation, knowing that he can separate, is a good route runner, has high potential. And I think for what you got for him, knowing he has potential and now he's in a better situation, I love this move for the Browns. Now, with all of that being said, obviously going into this offseason, there was a clear need at the wide receiver 2 position for the Browns. Before the league year even starts, Andrew Berry works the phones, goes out, gets some Jerry Jeudy. It's just awesome, man. I have to give props to Andrew Berry because in the last 5 years that he's been the Browns GM, there has never been a dull moment. He always makes every single offseason exciting for Browns fans, man. Like, there's never a boring offseason for Browns fans with Andrew Berry as the GM. Not only does he make splash moves or moves that gets us excited for the upcoming season, but he just he never fails to go into the offseason, see that the Browns have a need, and adequately address that position of need. And I think the fact that he always addresses it adequately, properly, with the right players, guys with the right age, type of potential, high ceiling, like he does with this Jerry Jeudy move. I just think it's incredible that we can be excited every offseason, not only because Andrew Berry makes good moves, but he makes those good moves in areas where the Browns clearly need those good moves to be made. This move, though, it really puts the free agent market into perspective for me because now that we have Jerry Jeudy, it makes the wide receiver free agent market for this year look a lot less appetizing than it did before. I think trading for Jerry Jeudy, acquiring Jerry Jeudy, I think he's better than anything you could have gotten on the free agent market this offseason. Now, obviously, guys like Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, they're gone. So you're left with guys like Calvin Ridley, who is most likely going to be too pricey for the Browns. So he's already out the window. Their ceiling. Marquise Brown is a guy who's just way too inconsistent. Wouldn't really feel comfortable with having him on the team. Same thing with Kendrick Bourne. And then, Darnell Mooney was a guy I really liked, but at the same time, he has some injury problems. He doesn't always stay on the field. So I just think with the Browns, I think Jerry Jeudy, given that you got him for practically nothing, but knowing he's probably going to get paid the same amount as Gabe Davis, I'd rather have Jerry Jeudy at that cap number than I would Gabe Davis. And I also would rather have Jerry Jeudy than I would Marquise Brown, Darnell Mooney, Kendrick Bourne, and then whoever else is below those guys. I would much rather have Jerry Jeudy, and I think this was a great proactive move by the Browns to realize that the free agent wide receiver market is probably not all that enticing. So go make a high upside move for Jerry Jeudy and give up practically nothing for him. Now I really want to get into what Jerry Jeudy really brings to the table as the Browns' new wide receiver to everybody. Because going into this offseason, I felt there were two things that the Browns really needed to look for in their new wide receiver too, next to Amari Cooper. Not only did you need a guy who could separate consistently and was a consistently good route runner, but I also felt like you needed a more big play player. Now, last year, aside from David Njoku and Amari Cooper, nobody else was really making consistent big plays as a receiving option. Coop and Njoku were really the only two guys that were making those big plays through the air consistently. You need another guy. Jerry Jeudy is that other guy that the Browns now have on their team in that wide receiving core, everybody. He is a big play threat. Is he a burner? No, but with his route running ability, with his yards after the catch ability, and with him just being a guy who can definitely make plays 20 plus yards down the field, 30 plus yards down the field, just look at the tape. I mean, look at the stats. With his separation and everything that he can do, Jerry Jeudy is a good deep threat. He gives you another big play guy next to David Njoku and Amari Cooper. And I think that's really great for this Browns team because that's what they've needed in a wide receiver too. Not only a guy that can separate consistently next to Amari Cooper and David Njoku, which is what the Browns are getting with Jerry Jeudy, but a guy who can make more big plays, get more yards after the catch, and Jerry Jeudy can do that. The Browns now have another guy who can really make big plays for their offense. When we're talking about acquiring Jerry Jeudy, though, I don't want to forget about Elijah Moore because I still feel like Elijah Moore is really important to the Browns' success, especially rounding out this trio of him, Amari Cooper, and Jerry Jeudy. And I say that because with this move, especially in having Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper now, the Browns are about to become separation nation, everybody. They are about to become separation nation. And here's what I mean when I say that. Amari Cooper, known for route running, known for being a great separator. Jerry Jeudy, known for route running, known for being a good separator. Elijah Moore, known for his route running, known for being a pretty nice separator, everybody. The Browns are about to become separation nation because they have three dudes that can make you pay in man coverage because they are awesome route runners. They are awesome separators. They showed this throughout their careers, and it's going to continue. The Browns have three dudes that not only make you pay in man coverage, but they also scare teams out of man coverage. Now, obviously, there are going to be games where maybe you're not going to win versus man coverage as much as you would do in other games, but you're still looking at a Browns receiving core where you have guys that can win versus man coverage and beat man coverage consistently. And like I said, when that happens, you scare teams out of man coverage. And when you beat man coverage consistently, teams get fearful of your receivers making plays behind their backs. And when defenses fear that the offense can get behind them consistently, they start to play more scared. And when defenses tend to play more scared, they tend to want to force the offense to play more in front of them and play more zone coverage. But here's the thing, everybody, and I think Deshaun Watson showed you this more last season and also more in the Ravens game. If as a defense you play scared and conservative and you want the offense to make more plays in front of you, Deshaun Watson can take advantage of that. He showed that in the Ravens game. And here's what I mean by that. For example, Ravens got up early in that game, and after halftime, they were like, okay, we don't want the Browns to get big plays through the air behind our defense. So they switched to zone coverage and really wanted to make the Browns make more passes in front of their defense rather than behind them. And then, after that, we all know what happened. Deshaun went 14 for 14 in the second half by taking those 4 to 5 yard increments, getting the ball to his receivers in those 4 or 5 yard increments, allowing them to get yards after the catch, and them just pacing themselves on drives, being able to get those touchdowns on those methodical drives with the help of the offensive line and the run game and everything of that nature. But what I'm saying here is, if you want to play back on the Browns and really shy away from man coverage so you're not getting beat by their route runners constantly, then okay, you can do that. But if you want to play zone and not smother them underneath and give them space to make plays underneath, They still have the quarterback. They still have the receivers that can manipulate zones underneath. And I forgot to mention that Jerry Jeudy has a 52% win rate versus zone. So that's also really good. But they have the players to manipulate zones, and David Njoku, Mari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy. They have the quarterback to be able to win in zone and move the ball methodically in 4 to 5 yard increments underneath. They also have the playmakers and skill position players to get yards after the catch underneath. So the Browns, with Jerry Jeudy and all the other players that they have, are in a position where they kind of become a pick your poison offense from a defensive perspective. Do you want to play man and get beat by their good route runners, or do you want to play zone and risk Deshaun Watson carving you up like he's proven that he can, playing methodically and just allowing Deshaun Watson to get those yards in 4 to 5 increments, in his life also being made easier, not only because he has those skill position players to do it, but because he also has Nick Chubb back this year. So when it comes to Jerry Jeudy, man, I feel like he's just another guy that makes it more difficult for defenses to guard the Browns when they want to run specific concepts and want to throw specific things at the Browns offense. He just makes life a lot harder on defenses when you add him to what the Browns already have. And I think given that the Browns now have a team full of separators that can not only manipulate zone, but win often versus man, but also still have a great run game, the Browns are going to be a two-dimensional team this year that can really kill you in multiple ways. And I think Jerry Jeudy, being the route runner that he is, really helps the Browns and allow them to do that. So just overall with Jerry Jeudy, like I said, good separator, good route runner, good after the catch. Like I said, good deep threat. Also, something I didn't mention yet, that man can jump. He's got a good catch radius. He can get up there. Also, because of that, he's a good 50-50 ball receiver. So if you're the Browns this offseason, you were looking to make your wide receiving core more explosive aside and next to Amari Cooper. And Jerry Jeudy was definitely the move here, especially knowing that you gave up a 5th and a 6th round pick for him and putting him in a better situation. Just think it's just a great trade by the Browns here. Something I wanted to get to. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be Amari Cooper's replacement. I think the Browns are kind of getting ahead of the game here when it comes to uh, getting Amari Cooper's replacement. I think Jerry Jeudy is that guy. I think this is going to be Coop's last year with the team, as this is his last year in his deal. So I think they're going to kind of soft launch Jerry Jeudy as a number one wide receiver at times this year. And I think they're going to be ready to pay him next offseason as that number one wide receiver, as he's also a free agent. But I think the Browns will extend him. And I think given that Jeudy is young, but also has a similar play style to Amari Cooper, I think he's the perfect fit to develop him 1 year under Cooper, allow him to get better, see him play well this year, but then go ahead and really full-fledged allow him to be that number one wide receiver next year, replacing Amari Cooper for what I think will be a good price next year. Because I don't think he's going to go berserk this year. I think Jerry Jeudy will play well, but I don't think he'll go berserk. But I think he'll play well enough for the Browns to be like, okay, we want you as wide receiver 1 to replace Amari Cooper, and we're going to have you as that guy. So, yeah, I think Jeudy is going to be Coop's replacement. I think the Browns got ahead of the game here, and I think that's great by them. But you guys, tell me in the comment section below what you think about the trade. I think obviously right now, we know wide receiver was something we were looking at going into this offseason. I think now that you got it done before Monday hits and free agency is here, you now have more of a clearer picture of what you're really going to do when it comes to spending your money. And I think that helps because there are less pieces to move. So now you can focus on who you're going to add to the defensive line, who you're going to add to the linebacking room, how much money you're going to spend in certain places,